What is an investable startup? What are the questions investors are going to ask? Let's start at the high level. Again, another hard fact. Less than 1% of startups are funded by venture capitalists. That means a VC generally will see 100 deals for every one they fund. Of course, in the most optimistic scenario, a startup entrepreneur like you may talk to 10, 20, even 50 VCs before they get funding. That increases their odds, but the odds are still not great. So what makes an investable venture-backed startup or potentially rapid-growing business? Let's look at key elements that investors look to define a quality, fundable venture startup. I hope by now you've determined whether or not you have a lifestyle business, a small but potentially rapidly growing business, or a fundable entrepreneurial startup. So let's start talking about your company and what it needs to have in place to be viable and fundable by experienced funders. Or if you've already tried to get funding, let's try to figure out what you were missing. There are over 100 key questions investors need answered before they invest in your business. They'll ask you a bunch of questions. Some of them will be spoken and some of them will be unspoken. They'll talk about it amongst themselves, they'll think about it. They won't actually ask you, but they're thinking these questions. So I want to share some of those with you as well. Let's start from the top. Very simply, investors need to understand at the highest level, what does your company do? What problem does your company or your product solve? What is unique about your company? How big is the market or market opportunity? What are the economics of your product and your business? How likely is it that your company can achieve its forecasts and be highly successful? How big can the company get? What is the investment required and the return potential if I invest in you? And of course, who's the team who's going to make this happen? And why are they uniquely qualified to be one of the 10% who survive and the 1% who are highly successful? Beyond these simple questions, what are they seeking to understand? There are 4 high-level things. Does the product have a compelling value proposition? Do you have a unique idea with high barriers to entry? Can you demonstrate market traction and that you have a profitable business on your hands? And have you assembled a perfect team to execute on your vision? As you notice, I'm going to start repeating some things because these are really important. Okay, so let's start taking this apart. Going one step deeper, or asking it in a different way, investors want to know, 1, is there a big market you can create or disrupt, and why? Why does your team have an unfair advantage to pull that disruption off and keep others from copying you? What is your possible business model or models and the capital you'll need to raise for this type of company to get there? How much of that capital do you need to raise now? And what are the milestones for inflection, the turning points in your business where the value will start to increase? Next, what are the key risks and how are they being reduced or eliminated? Last, what are the potential returns for investment? Remember, I'm putting in money, how much am I going to get back? You want to know that, I want to know that. Your investor is looking for answers to these questions, but the big unsaid question the investor is constantly thinking about in their mind is, can this CEO and this team be trusted? Can they pull this off? Can they listen and adapt when needed? Can they pivot based on experience? Maybe what they thought was going to happen isn't quite right and they need to adjust in the marketplace. Are they really adaptable? Do they have the expertise, the passion, grit, and skills to do the near impossible? Connected to this video is a list of 100 questions investors might ask. It's not intended to be a definitive list, but they're a great start, and they're the basis for Venture Basecamp. Venture Basecamp is a program where we work to teach you about knowledge, requirements, and skills needed to get funding and build a successful business. You can download the questions here or on the Venture Basecamp site. Through Venture Basecamp, we'll work with you so you'll be able to present your business in a logical, sequential manner that answers these questions in a way that funders can hear and understand.